What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Grind. You're watching Sub Urban Nerd. This channel where I give my nerd reviews on today's nerd news, but I also do reviews on shows and movies. And today's show I'm doing a review on is actually the whole season of Luke Cage Season 2. Now, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm kind of making it a little bit different format, how I usually do reviews, and this is gonna be a spoiler review, so I'm just giving you guys a warning right now. You guys had a week. I know that's a lot of binging, but yeah, this is a spoiler review, and I'm gonna give the first top 5 things that I really liked about the series that kind of made it work for me, and then there's 5 things that gripes or issues I had with it. So I'm gonna first start off with number 5 on the things that I liked, and the things that I like is the music. The music was so great in the first season, and it's really good in the second season as well. The music flows really good with what's going on in the scenes. In fact, there's 2 main musicians that stuck out to me, and one of them was actually a Jamaican who was playing it seemed like a guitar or ukulele kind of thing, but at the same time it was working with what was going on in the background in the scenes. And the other one was this actually I think he had the guitar. There was this fat guy that had like it was like a small little guitar. I think it was a guitar as well, and yo, he had some soul. He sang so good. It was like blues with guitar, and it just really worked, and I liked it a lot. The music, like I said, it was an A+ in the first one. This one, it didn't grab me as much as the first season, so I'd give it like probably like a B or B+ as far as the music going. But other than that, like I said, the music is great. If you like the music in the first season, you'll love the music in the second season because it really works, and it just has a lot of different vibes going with it. So that being said, we're gonna go on to number 4. And number 4 of the things that I liked is real Jamaicans. And I'm not saying they're all like real Jamaicans that are playing the Jamaicans in the what they call the team. What they call it? The I can't even remember what the name was because they changed their name. They were going by a certain name, the Jamaicans, and then no, they changed it to Styles. I know Styles was what they went with at the end, but I can't remember what it was first called. But yeah, the Jamaicans seemed real, like their accents, and I tell you, like, me no know how many picnic try to pretend like them true Jamaican, but I tell you, them man true, them true. And I'm saying I'm representing a little, with the Jamaican flag. But yeah, man, the way they talked, I felt like they were real Jamaicans. Not very often do you see that. Not very often do you see in live stream and mainstream try and even showcase Jamaicans as actually Jamaicans. And even though they were showing Jamaicans as some very, very bad people as far as like chopping off heads and doing all these things, I say like this: nobody can take offense to this because they've been doing that for every other race. I'm telling you, Italians, they show the mafia. You think, like, look at Scarface, or look at what's it called? Godfather, chopping off a head's horse, throwing it in a bed. Like, you got Sopranos. How many times do they represent Italians as like the crazy mafia people that just don't give a F and just kill you no matter what and no matter what way? This one, at least they did it for, say, Bushmaster and his crew, the stylists, but like with the heads on a pike, at first it seems very vicious. It does. I'll tell you right now, it does seem very vicious, but in the end you kind of find out what the reason for it is. And then you look at them in a little different light. And that being said, I'm leading into my number 3 for the things that I liked about this show. And it was the villain. The main villain, Bushmaster. Bushmaster, or actually the new villain, because main villain, with Luke Cage, it seems to jump around. Like, I don't know if it's Mariah, you got Shades, you got just a bunch of people. But Bushmaster, at first when he comes into the scene, he's like, yo, he's that dude. And then when he starts killing people, you're like, yo, I don't like this dude because, like, he's just too crazy. And they make it seem, they play it off like, yo, the Jamaicans are just way too crazy. They should not be in charge and all this. But the dude had a plan, and it worked out. Like, the way he wanted it, it worked out. Even though he was chopping off heads, and you felt a little bad because, like, the lawyer or the stockbroker, or, like, you felt bad for the way they were killing them. But then you find out the history of Bushmaster, and that's what works. Just like with Kingpin, you find out his history, and you kind of you see the development of Kingpin. You like Kingpin. In the first season of Luke Cage, Cornelius, or Cottonmouth, yo, I loved him. Which is why in the second half, when he was killed, spoiler alert, when he was killed, it dropped down the value of like the shows. Like it just wasn't the same level that the first half of the season was. And when they brought in Diamond back, or Diamond Head, I don't even care what his name was. He was just too over dramatic. He seemed like a cartoon character in which Cornelius was like smooth, like a smooth villain, contemplated until he started losing it because Luke Cage was just messing up his business. But Bushmaster comes in and he makes his mark. He straight up uppercuts the crap out of Luke Cage, puts him down, and then he fights one-on-one, and then he takes him down. But at that point, Luke Cage was still dizzy from the sneak attack. And then, of course, Luke Cage redeems himself, comes back, kind of busts the dude's ass. But I'm just saying, you find out why with the family of Mariah's family, Mama Mabel, of what happened to his family. And it turns out that Mama Mabel, or there was Bushmaster's father, worked with, I believe it was Mama Mabel's father, or was it her boyfriend or husband or something like that, to create Bushmaster, this liquor. Bushmaster's mom got pushed out, or the father got rushed out because I forget what their names are, the last names. Dillards, I guess the Dillards. The Dillards, or Stokes. Actually, it's Stokes. So the Stokes, they changed. They crossed over. They double crossed them. Got him kicked out. Worked with the Italians. Took over Harlan's Paradise, and then basically built their empire. Meanwhile, the Jamaicans got sent back to Jamaica with nothing, no money, nothing in hand. And then Bushmaster's mom tried to work out a deal with lawyers with Mama Mabel. Mama Mabel took some fire cocktails, threw it through the window. The mom got Bushmaster out. His mom died burning. And then the dude, 3 years later, just trying to survive, selling some fruit, gets shot 2 times in his torso for no damn reason, just because he survived. And then that's when they do this whole thing with the Nightshade, and then he finds out he's very special, as far as even in injections, that most of the kids died, but somehow he survived it. So you find out he's special, and then with the Nightshade he becomes even more special. So then that's when he comes back to get revenge. And you start feeling sympathy. You start seeing why, okay, now I understand why you're trying to kill off the Stokes, because the Stokes is messed up. And they don't try and hide that from you. They trying to show you straight up that the Stokes is a messed up family and they did some really bad things. And you feel for Bushmaster. You actually start rooting for him just a little bit. As far as before, he was just cutting off people's heads. You're like, yo, this dude's got to die. He's just so bad. But then you're like, you know what? The Stokes are a little bit worse. And it's like the greater evil. Which one do you root for? That, going on to the next one. So, like I said, the villain was a great, Bushmaster, great. That's number 3. Number 2 is real character development. There was character development of pretty much everybody. You've got Mariah, where in the first season, she took over after she killed, Cornelius or Cottonmouth. And you see Shades come in and kind of mentor her and be there for her. And this, there's the same thing. And you see the relationship develop even more between Shades and Mariah. And it's kind of creepy. I'm sorry, but it kind of is. The lady's got to be in her 60s or something. And even though he's probably in his late 30s, 40, maybe, it's creepy because she looks old. She looks like my grandmother. And seeing him kissing her all up and grabbing her, but look, yo, they were not hiding the TNA. They were not hiding it. They was all up, the grabbing, and then the kissing. And I felt a little certain way about watching. I felt kind of uneasy. I'm sorry, I kind of did. But development of the relationship did work. As far as Mariah, her development was great. It was a 180. She was, I don't know if I could say she was timid. She knew what she had to do, and she had control. But at some point, she just snapped. Sort of like how Cornelius did, whatever. But when I say snap, she snapped. Did not give a F about life. She was killing people like they were ants. Like they were nothing to her. She took on the Mama Mabel persona. Like, no one matters but me. And family, you would think. But she said some pretty harsh things to her daughter. Going on to the next person, Misty. Misty, in the first season of Luke Cage, she was a rock as far as her principles. She thought, okay, everything goes by the law. You know what I'm saying? She was on the opposite side of Luke Cage, but she kind of grew to understand what it was about. She was against the whole vigilante thing. It was like, yo, we do it by the book. But in the second season, she sees that it doesn't work because of the double cross or this backstabbing of her partner, who basically was really shady. and did some grimy stuff, and all these cases got thrown out, and a lot of people got let loose onto the streets, including this dude Cockroach that she did not like. And the dude Cockroach just had, he deserved to be slapped. Like, all the stuff that happened to him, I wasn't feeling bad when things happened to him, as far as, like, let's say Slit, but her development went from before by the books to realizing that vigilante is not that bad, because Mariah kept slipping through with their lawyers and all this stuff, and at some point Misty she couldn't take it. She quit. She handed in, because she was about to do some illegal stuff as well, as far as planting evidence, which is what happened with her partner that got cases thrown out. But she realized that the system doesn't work. She doesn't want to be part of it. And the one thing I definitely got to see that I loved about it was the fact that she got the mechanical arm. Because I already knew this was going to happen. Even before I saw the pictures, I know Misty from the comics, and she had a mechanical arm, so I already knew that was going to happen. And it worked out well. The mechanical arm was really good. I liked the way it worked. It wasn't too futuristic, but at the same time, it had extra punch. It was a lot stronger than a regular punch. So when she kind of learned to use it a lot quicker than most people would. I'll tell you that. That's as far as science fiction time frame, of the way she kind of put it on, tested it, and all of a sudden she's like fighting with it. I'm sorry, like, see some people with some amputees and getting those arms, and you tell me how quick they learn to use those. It was like a day as far as going episodes, literally like a day. But Misty still, her arc, her growth, and then even growing from like the hot-headed that's just followed by the book, and it has to be done this way, to seeing the bigger picture as far as giving a plea deal to to actually Shades, to take down Mariah. When before she wouldn't be down. In fact, she felt she wanted to throw in her car, her badge and her gun, because her lieutenant or her chief, the guy in charge, wanted to do a deal with Shades. No, with Mariah. No, she wanted to do a deal with Mariah, I believe. And to take down other people. Or wanted to make a deal with, I can't remember who, but it was like one of the guys got killed. He had like a snitch, but that didn't work out for him. And she was like snap on him just for that. And then she realized that you got to see the bigger picture. So that's one thing I loved about the development of Misty. But also you see the development of Colleen and Misty, that they're fighting together. And y'all know that when they come together, it's the Daughters of the Dragon. And I don't know if we're going to get a spinoff, but if we do, I'm down for it, because Colleen's a sexy one too, along with Misty. I wouldn't mind watching a season of them, because I don't say they're not super powered, but they handle their business. I could definitely see them handle business. Colleen, she was saving Danny Rand's ass most of the time in Iron Fist. I'm just saying, she was. And then as far as the other relationships, you got Danny and Luke, that we got to see the Heroes for Hire. That thing I loved, but it was very brief. We didn't get to see it that much, but it was cool. Claire, she was there, but you understood why she didn't like violence, and you find out why, because her dad, there was always violence in the house with the mom, so therefore that's why she sort of left Luke at some point in the series. But that worked for me, and I was really happy. Last thing that made me really, really like this season in a way, the one thing that was the best for me, it's my boy Shades. Shades' development was on par. Like, I liked him so much in this season. He had so much swag. He wasn't just one. He told Mariah, like, he's not one of her snap boy, like, to jump her. He was there for her. He said he's there for her. He put her away, and even he had the balls to show up and tell her, like, I'm sorry, but you was going overboard, There was rules to the game. You don't want to live your life on the swivel. You had a plan. You were gonna be this. You should have just sold. You should have sold Paradise to me. Harlem's Paradise should have sold it to me, or sold the goddamn picture. None of this would happen, and he's right. If she just listened to him, they would have been sitting in some island in Tahiti or whatever, and just living a high life. But she didn't, and Shades just showed that he was a man, and that he was the best part of this season.